Time now for Future in Focus. We're going to pick different things to talk about. I'm going to talk about, no shocker there, is oil. Guys, something bananas has happened in the oil market curve. And if you look inside the terminal, it's a CCRV function. It takes a look at oil prices WTI now versus just 1 week ago. The re-rating in the curve didn't happen really in the front end, despite any sort of tightening market or despite any worries about short-term demand. It really happened in the back end. I mean, a big move lower in the back end. The white line is where we are now. The blue line is where we were just a week ago. What I'm hearing is this is producers coming in to hedge because they couldn't before. Prices were too low. They took advantage of prices around 50 to go ahead and hedge barrels. Also, there's been some kind of a curve, a trade where you want to buy the front end because of market tightness and then sell the back end to protect yourself. That's not necessarily in supply and demand. But man, that is a move.
It is a move, and it's really interesting as well. If you think about what that's going to mean long term, if they're prepared to hedge forward at that point, is that kind of where we're going to see things capping out? And it's also interesting from a kind of shale point of view. I imagine there's quite a lot of shale producers out there itching to get going. If they can sell some of that forward, that's going to provide them cash flow, and they can move on from there as well. The other thing I think that's probably worth talking about is the ongoing story in Bitcoin. Which has been gripping a lot of people out there. We're sub 19 now, but we've had a couple of looks at 20, and I think that's absolutely fascinating that we've seen this huge pickup at a time we're seeing immense outflows from the gold ETFs that we've been tracking as well. So it's interesting that these two things continue to move in the same sort of different directions. But in some ways, you could also argue that you are seeing Bitcoin maybe being more correlated with the kind of the huge gains we're seeing in stocks like Tesla at the moment. And maybe we're seeing similar people ultimately kind of trading around these stories. We move, as I speak, back above 19,000 just for a moment. But a couple of good looks, Alex, at 20,000.